down here we start with the heating buffer tank. This basically has all of the water stored from the heating system, which is heated from the air source unit, which is outside. It's got an additional immersion heater, which will help boost the temperature of the water in the heating circuit. So then that will then come out. It's then pumped to the manifold. We have one here. There's also one more on the other side of the house. Then these pumps here on the sides come to a primary magnetic filter, which goes back and forth to the air source unit to get the heat from there to heat the system basically. Then we move up. This is the hot water cylinder. So you've got 300 litres of stored hot water here at the moment. This does everything in the building, all of the hot water from every tap. Up here we have the isolation valves. We have one side going off to the bathroom supply, the rest does the utility room and the kitchen. If there's ever a problem with a hot tap, you can simply turn one of these levers off. These are in the horizontal position at the moment. If we're on, they can just go up to be turned off, and then they'll be turned off instantly. Here you also have isolation valves again to the bathrooms and to the toilet and to the utility area. Again, these are in the vertical position at the moment, off, simple as that. To isolate all of the water in the house, we've got two stopcocks here. One is softened and one is hard water. So this one on the left is the hard water. This goes to supply the outside taps, and then the soft water comes in from the water softener in the garage. So to turn it off, you simply twist that all the way around, and then that will isolate all of the water supply to here and all of the water supply to the rest of the house. So you turn that back on, and that is basically everything that needs to be worried about on the hot water side for isolation. So over here we have our expansion vessel, and then there's a temperature and pressure relief valve. This is the expansion relief valve. The expansion vessel is there, here, wrong side. This is the hot water expansion vessel. So if there is a problem with this, then you'll probably find that through the tun dish you will get a drip of water. That means that the expansion vessel has probably failed, or alternatively the valve would have failed. If this happens, give us a call. It needs to be checked on an annual service anyway as part of the cylinder. If it starts to gush out and it can't be stopped, then just turn the isolation valve off either here or at the stopcock. So there's another isolation valve just there, so just give that a turn. And that's that really on the hot water side. So if we move on to the heating side, so again, like we said about the buffer tanks before, on this system, just purely because there wasn't quite enough space, there's one buffer tank down there for the heating, and then you have another additional buffer tank upstairs up there. So again, these store all the water. This is the expansion vessel here for the central heating. So here we've got a pressure gauge. It's quite important that this stays between 1 to 2 bar. Occasionally with newer systems, and with some systems particularly where you've got multiple floors, you can get air trapped, and then it will eventually be bled out by air vents. So if this happens, sometimes the pressure will drop, so you'll see it sort of drop down to 0, and then you'll start to get problems. You might hear pumps get quite noisy. So if you just turn these two valves here, we've got one black lever there, and then another one, and you'll start to hear water rush through, and the gauge will rise. So we just say keep it between 1 to 2 bar, turn them off, and that's that done. Other valves we've got, so again on the underfloor heating manifolds we've got a pressure gauge which is just reading exactly the same as this. If you ever to have a problem with the underfloor heating, say for like example you had a leak or something, you can just turn these isolation valves off here, and that will, bit stiff, turn off the water supply to the underfloor heating, and you should stop dripping soon. But obviously give us a call if you have any more problems with that. We've got a temperature gauge down here, which at the moment is reading at about 35 degrees Celsius. So that's normal for air source heating to sort of get to around about that temperature. They're pretty self-explanatory. You don't really need to sort of touch them. It's all sort of set up to go. Up here we have the main NIBE control center for the air source heating. It basically controls all of the hot water temperatures, all of the heating temperatures. They're preset by new heat, so they don't really need to be touched. If you were to have any problems with it, or if you have any problems with hot water temperatures, timings, give us a call because we can probably come to program it. It's not a simple control, so it's a good idea just to give us a call and we can pop out and have a look. Here we've got two isolation valves. These are hard water and they're purely for the outside taps, so it's a good idea over winter just to turn these off. So it's just a simple drop down, and then a good idea is to open up the outside taps just to sort of drain any water out of them, and then they can stay like that all winter. And then obviously when it comes back around to spring, you want to use them, you can just simply turn them back on, and away you go.